Hello there again. Today's little project, I'm going to cut out one of these Skyrim Priest daggers. It's a PS4 game, I believe. Never seen it, apart from when I actually started looking into making this. It's 22 inches in length. That took some finding out. There's only two sites that actually get the length away, and one guy was actually guessing. So we'll make it 22 inches. The wood's 2 inches thick, but it's a very thin blade, so we'll lose most of that. As you can see, get your image, stick it down. Best way is to put your carbon paper underneath and simply draw around it. So that's what we're going to make today. Let's start on. I'm going to start first with the scroll saw. I might get away with it, but if it's a bit too thick, we'll go on to the jigsaw. So let's start cutting this out. Right, we've managed to cut round that, as you can see. You said if you can get it out. There we go. So we've made a good start. Not quite ready for battle yet. So we'll continue and start narrowing this down. Handle's going to be the hardest chunk to take out. And like I say, it's a very thin blade. So we'll mark a central point on that. And I think mostly I could route out with a router, save a lot of sanding. But yeah, I would say that's the easiest bit done. Right, as you can see from there, I put the dagger back into the original block. The only reason I do this is I've got quite a small base on my router, and it's just going to give me some more room for this to run on when I'm routing out. Instead of trying to balance it just on the dagger itself, and it could be all over the place. So we'll route out all we need, and then we can actually turn it over, and we'll do exactly the same on the other side. The finished piece, the finished bits will be these bits around here. So they'll be the deepest with the router, and then we'll bring it up a couple of mil and take out this section to give you the actual design of the dagger. And then this middle piece, we'll start getting the sanding burr on the Dremel and start doing that out. And then we'll move on to the handle and stuff. So I'll start taking out bits of this to get the shape going. Right, we can see from that, I've started going around with a router. There's a long way to go yet, but it's coming out nicely. This curly section is the same depth as this back piece. So that's going to be quite easy to do, because whatever cut that, we'll do that the same, obviously. But that's going to be the blade inside there. What I have done is just mark off. You can just see that in the middle. That's the centre, obviously, because this wood's the same thickness as a dagger at this moment in time. So that's my centre. So that will be basically the point of the blade, the sharp side of the blade. So I've come up slightly, and that's the depth I need to go down with this section here. And then same on the opposite side. It's going to still be quite a thick blade at that. But at least for the rest we can sand that down afterwards. And that's a good guideline. So I keep setting my route a bit till I get to that first line. And I don't really want to go any further, or else that blade's going to get skinnier and skinnier in the middle. For those that are generally interested, this is the only bit I use. It's a 1/4 inch straight imperial cutter, 1/8 inch by 1/2 inch, if that means anything. And I will do the whole lot with that, everything. And I use that on all my projects. If you want to watch my previous videos, that and a little CNC bit. So we'll continue cutting this down. I will show you bits with the router as I'm going on, but we've all saw these in action before, and it's just a lot of noise and stuff. So, but I throw the odd little bit in now and again just so you can see it. So I'll continue going deeper with this one until we get to that first line, and obviously we don't want to go any further. Let's do some more routing. Okay, we're taking shape nicely. Just before I show you the state of play so far, my old faithful router basically just started shooting bits of metal at me, so my arm's slightly pebble dashed. So that has died. I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but that's for the bin. So I better return to my old faithful. It's a bit numb and noisy, and I do prefer the smaller model. But yeah, that is no more, that one. Anyway, not to worry. Always have a backup router if you're going to be doing a lot of these things. So let's have a look at the state of play so far. I'll remove our little frame. And you can see we've done that side there. And I've also done the other side there. They match pretty good, the curves. And the blade may look a bit thick, but I'd rather sand that down with the little sanding burr afterwards. Now the next stage is to remove this section here and this section here, so the top and the bottom so far, and that comes down a couple of mil before it makes contact with the blade. So we're going to stop it about there, so we can mark that off. That's more or less where we want to be, and we don't want to go down any further than that. And that's the same on the opposite side, and that piece is the same depth as that piece, so it will just leave us the spine running down the middle of the blade. So we'll do that next, and we'll sort the handle out later. Right, you can see from that we've done the next section, so we remove the frame again. I don't know if you can see from there. So that side's all to do yet, but that side's gone right down. That's going to be the centre of the blade, the top of the blade should I say, and that'll be the underside. Still quite a thick blade is that, but like I said before, we'll sand that down with the sanding birds. I'd rather take my time with that than skim it off too much. This big chunk will come out last, and it goes in at a steady depth at this end, and as it gets towards the point, this will all meet together, because as you can see, that's well too thick. So eventually that'll all come to a point. So that side's done. Now what we're going to do is turn it over, and we'll do the opposite side. I did want to do more routing bits, but this thing is just so noisy. I do have a new one on its way. We don't want to wait too long, do we? So I'll turn this over and start doing the other side. Right, you can see from that we've done the next section. So we remove the frame again. I don't know if you can see from there. So that side's all to do yet, but that side's gone right down. That's going to be the centre of the blade, the top of the blade should I say, and that'll be the underside. Still quite a thick blade is that, but like I said before, we'll sand that down with the sanding birds. I'd rather take my time with that than skim it off too much. This big chunk will come out last, and it goes in at a steady depth at this end, and as it gets towards the point, this will all meet together, because as you can see, that's well too thick. So eventually that'll all come to a point. So that side's done. Now what we're going to do is turn it over, and I'm going to do the opposite side. I did want to do more routing bits, but this thing is just so noisy. I do have a new one on its way. We don't want to wait too long, do we? So I'll turn this over and start doing the other side. Okay, that's both sides of the blade done now. That one, identical on that side. I still think that blade's a little bit thick at the moment in time, but we'll do a lot of sanding on this. We'll just that big spinal bit to remove here. Take it down at the handle and take some kind of point at that end. But yeah, we're getting there slowly. From that, we've removed the side section there. It's fitting down nicely. It's a long way to go to get that to a nice point. I still think this is a good size, to be honest, but I struggled to find any proper measurements, so I've had to rely on other people's say so. Next stage, we're going to just start lowering this handle down. It's far too thick, is that, and I'm going to have it just running in line with that spine at the back, so you can see I've marked it off there. So come down there. So basically the thickness of that to fit in there, and then we'll start putting the grooves in, and then we'll get the old sanding out, start making some shape on this. So I'll cut this handle down for now. Right, the handle's gone down now. We'll round it off with the sanding burrs on the Dremel or whatever. That's got to all be rounded off. All this has to come out apart from a small bit in the centre. So there's a lot of shaping to do yet. But that's it for the router. So we can put that away. My new one still hasn't turned up yet. So that'll probably come here tomorrow because we don't need it anymore. But anyway, the main bits I'm going to use now is a good old Dremel heads. We've seen them before. So with the sanding burrs. There's this one here. You can't see that. That's just basically just put me lines in the handle across here like so. And some smaller ones. And we're going to go around. There's a lot of sanding. So I'll crack on with that now. And then we'll see what we end up with. Right, that's all finished now. Couple of issues. There's a nasty knot just there. If that had been any lower, that could really have gone bad. And also up on the handle here, there's actually a screw went through there, so I caught that with a profile bit, so that took some digging out. And overall, it's all there. It's a good size. Now I'm going to leave this wood. I've just put some linseed oil on it, and I'm quite happy just to leave it like that. Because on the original ones, you get a gold one, a bronze one like that, and then there's silver ones. So that's the one I've based mine on, the one on the end there. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know which one's Skyrim Priest Dagger, because they don't give a lot of information away. But that's mine done. So that's that little project over with. If you're still with me at the end, well done. You might get away with some spray paint on this, but if you want it to look like metal, you can make it out of metal. But for now, this one's over with. Thank you for watching.